Critical thinking skills are essential for the reflective practitioner, and there are some core ideas that we need to consider as critical thinkers. And these core ideas are about the process of thinking itself. Critical thinking is very much about analysis of a situation, and also about making inferences, coming to conclusions about the experiences that we're having. And in terms of those inferences, those conclusions, trying to understand them, trying to explain them. And that is a very evaluative process, looking at the quality of what is going on. There needs to be then a level of interpretation of any sort of experience that we have. And encompassing all of this critical thinking, there needs to be some self-regulation by the teacher in terms of how much they are analysing, how much they're inferencing, what evidence they are using, and the quality of that evidence that they're using as part of the critical thinking process. So what does interpretation mean? It's very much about having an understanding of the information that we're confronted with, and how we communicate this to ourselves, but also communicate that to other people. As you know, as reflective practitioners, as teachers, we're presented with a variety of information in the classroom continually, and this needs to be decoded by the teacher and then encoded by the teacher. This is the process of communication: decoding, understanding, and then encoding it for others to understand. And this whole process helps us get a better understanding of our students. It helps us get inside the heads of the students. Analysis, this is very much about trying to make connections between the pieces of information that we have, trying to understand how the linkages impact on one another. It's therefore an intuitive skill. It's about the teacher beginning to read between the lines of the text that they experience. It's not just looking at the facts, but trying to understand the ideas behind the facts. Inference is about recognizing what the analysis actually means. It's developing an understanding and an accurate understanding of how these lead our thinking into action. So it is, in a way, a sort of concluding phase. At this point, the teacher may be, in terms of conclusions, may be making hypotheses about why things are happening, and from this actually making judgments about how to change teaching practice in relation to these hypotheses. It's important to be able to understand all these components of critical thinking and how they create information for us as reflective practitioners, so that we can actually develop and learn and improve what we're doing. The ability to understand and the information that we can draw from that is actually a very significant skill, therefore, because without critical thinking, reflective practice can't happen. Evaluation is another core component of critical thinking, and it's very much about the individual teachers and experience and making connections with the rational aspect of critical thinking. It's therefore based in some judgment and also the teacher's opinion about things, and how this gives validity to the information which is being gathered. it does therefore add to the interpretation. So as a reflective practitioner, you need these skills. They're very much about helping you accurately determine the information that you're using in order to improve your practice. And it's very much about taking an in-depth look through criticality at what is happening. Explanation. This is where, as a teacher, you're trying to look at the information and phrase it in a different way, so you get clarity about what it actually means. It's a restating of the problem. Your ability to do this relies on your ability to communicate your ideas. Communicate your ideas to yourself and communicate your ideas to students. And finally, the final core component, the self-regulation. This is the component about self-awareness of the teacher, the teacher's own ability to think through a problem and to come to conclusions, and to make those conclusions lead to actions. So your ability to be able to think through and to rationalize and to come to conclusions is the core process of critical thinking, and these ideas are significant in terms of that.